Okay, hey everybody on Facebook. We are also live on Instagram, and this is Talented Tuesdays Fridge Pickles, and I am going to show you guys how to make them. So this is part of our new online digital programming through the North Riverside Public Library. Because the library is closed right now, we are not able to do the normal programs that we normally do to bring education and crafts and information to everybody. So we are moving all of that online. So every Tuesday at about 5:30, we are going to be doing a live video as part of our Talented Tuesday series that is going to be something educational and something new that during our time stuck at home, our staff is working on and teaching themselves and learning, and we're going to be sharing that with all of you. So my name is Lizzy Bowden. I'm the Adult Services Manager at the North Riverside Public Library. And in addition to Talented Tuesdays, we're also going to have what we're calling What You're Reading and Watching Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. also. That will be on Zoom. And you can find that link on our Facebook events page or email me directly to get it, to just talk about books, movies, games, whatever you're doing during this time. We're also going to have Game Night Fridays, also on Zoom, and that's going to be a smartphone app game that we're going to all play together on Fridays through Zoom. And then meditation and stretching, which will be on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. by conference call, phone line. So you won't need internet to participate in that. You're just going to call into the phone line, and then you'll be able to do meditation and stretching. You'll just want to have a seat with nothing around you, a sturdy chair, and then put your phone on speakerphone and you're good to go. So all of that information and how to access those things can be found on our Facebook page or by emailing me at bowdenl@northriversidelibrary.org. Okay, and with that, let's get started and kind of go through the fridge pickling process. So the ingredients that you're going to need are pretty simple. It's a fairly basic process, and that really surprised me the first time I did it because it sounded really complicated to me. This is not the type of pickling where you need to sanitize everything and like vacuum seal it. The reason it's called fridge pickling is because it's kind of a quick and dirty pickling method. It won't preserve your vegetables for as long, but they'll certainly last long enough for you to eat all of them. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You are going to need distilled white vinegar, roughly 5% acidity. It doesn't matter what brand. It's just normal white vinegar. I see Cambodi asks, what breed of cucumber do we need? Cambodi, that's my sister, Camille. It does not matter what type of cucumber you use. And in fact, you don't even need to use cucumbers. So actually, that's like the next thing I'm going to show you guys. If you see down here, you will see I have, let me get myself out of the way of you guys. I got cucumbers on this tray. These are just random I just bought the first cucumber I saw at the grocery store. But you don't need to use cucumbers. I see my head's cut off on Facebook. Sorry, Facebook. You don't actually need to use cucumbers. You can use carrots, cabbages, tomatoes, those little pearl onions. Garlic is something we're actually going to be doing today. Literally, if you've got a vegetable and it's about to go off, pickle it because that'll preserve its life and it's going to be delicious. Okay, so in addition to your vinegar and your vegetables, whether it's a cucumber or any other kind of vegetable, you are also going to want to have salt. Sea salt is best, kosher sea salt, but it can be any kind of salt. And pickling, I have pickling spices. And you don't need these. Like this, I got this jar of pickling spices because I knew that I was going to want to do pickling. And so I saw this at a grocery store and literally picked it up. And it is a blend of brown mustard seeds, allspice, cinnamon, red pepper, coriander, dill, ginger, black pepper, bay leaf, white pepper, cloves. That's all in this little, the brand is Imperfect Foods, and it's just pickling spices. However, you don't need that. All you actually really need is dill. If you've got like fresh dill, or even if it's not fresh dill, it's dried, that's the only thing you actually really need to pickle. I see P. Giordano has joined us. Hello. Yeah, so that's all you really need. If you don't have dill, I probably wouldn't do this process, but as long as you have dill, you're good to go. But I do really like to use this blend because it adds a lot more spices and complexity to the pickling process. So if you can find this anywhere or any other pickling spices blend, I recommend it. Okay, so vinegar, pickling spices, salt, cucumbers, or literally any other vegetable that you want. And the last thing you're really going to need is garlic. I have 4 cloves of garlic right now, and we are going to use those during the process of actually boiling the liquid, and then we're going to put them into the jar. And then you need a mason jar. Well, you don't actually need a mason jar. You just need a jar of some kind. It can be like, I actually have 2 examples of home pickling I've already done, and these are carrots that I pickled in an old peanut butter jar. So like you just need some sort of container, and glass is better. I would not use plastic for this. So those are all the supplies you need. And now we can take you through the process. So step number 1 is you want to set some water to boil. So I'm going to do that right now. The ratio of water that you need is 2 parts of water to 1 part of vinegar. So I'm going to do for this 2 cups of water, and we're going to eventually do 1 cup of vinegar. So I'm going to take Instagram with me, and Facebook you're going to have to kind of watch from afar. But I have a pot on the stove, and I'm literally just going to, like, everybody knows how to do this. I don't need to show you how. I'm just going to, well, number 1, I'm going to make very loud noises. And I see that Cambodia asks, what if my pickle is soft? Cambodia, as long as your pickle isn't rotten, it doesn't matter if it's soft. You definitely don't want to use rotten vegetables for this, but if they're just starting to go bad, but they haven't gone completely bad yet, then I think you can use them for pickling. It's going to preserve their life. So I'm just literally now going to boil this water. And into it, as it's boiling, I'm going to drop the 4 cloves of garlic that I have. So your rough average for garlic to like cup is like 2 garlic cloves for each cup of water that you do. So that's why I have 4 cloves of garlic. And I'm just going to let that go. It's not going to take long to boil at all. While it is boiling, I'm going to stuff my mason jar full of vegetables. So let me see if I can set this up. We're doing a lot of experimentation here. Now, like, we have not done digital programs at the library before. So this is one of our first times ever going Facebook Live. And I'm also doing Facebook and Instagram Live at the same time, which may or may not be a mistake, but we wanted to get this out to as many people as we could. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I got my mason jar. And literally all you have to do is make sure that it's tightly packed. So you don't want like a lot of space left between whatever vegetables you're using. You really want it to be tight. And that is just honestly so that you don't have to use quite as much liquid to do it. And, and I don't know the other scientific reasons, but every recipe that you ever read is going to say pack it really tightly. So that's what I'm going to do. And kind of in between packing it really tightly, I'm just going to add a little bit of the spices. This isn't really scientific. I don't think that, I'm not going to put too much, but I'm also not going to measure it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. If you're using dill, just use a bunch of dill. Like, this part doesn't have to be anything that you're really careful about. So I'm just going to kind of put the spices right in there, kind of let them float to the bottom, because once we put the liquid in, they're going to float up. And then I'm just going to keep putting it on in until it's really tight and I genuinely can't get any more cucumbers into the jar. So I don't think I'm going to be able to use all the cucumbers that I had cut up for this, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to then eat them raw. So there's no loss to anybody. And I think that's probably about good. And then I might just pour a little more spices on top just for good measure. It's not like you can overdo it. Like, the whole point of eating a pickle is how deliciously spiced it is. Okay. So we're going to wait now. The water is actually just about boiling. And we're about ready to go. Now, once the water is boiling, we are going to go ahead and add 3 teaspoons of salt to it until it dissolves. And we're also going to add 1 cup of vinegar. And then once the salt is dissolved with the vinegar, we're going to remove that from the heat. So I got my vinegar, I got my salt, and additionally, I got my measuring spoons. So again, because Facebook, you're on my laptop, and Instagram, you're on my phone is going to come with me. And Facebook, you're going to watch from afar. Okay, so we're going to start with our 1 cup of vinegar. And we're just going to let the water keep boiling while we do this because it doesn't really hurt anything. So I'm going to put you guys up there. Hello. And Shanana Mouse, if you can use, it's recommended to use sea salt. Sea salt is the best kind for this. I think you could use any kind of salt. I don't think it would really mess it up too much, but sea salt is preferred. All right, so we got the vinegar in. That kind of stopped the boil because the vinegar was cold. And now I'm going to put you guys a little further down and just add the 3 teaspoons of salt really quickly, and then I'm just going to stir it up until it dissolves. That is only going to take like a few seconds. It is not long. I am making probably more liquid than we're going to need because this recipe actually calls for a quart, to use a quart-sized mason jar, and I don't have one. So I'm actually, the one I'm using is a pint. And that's okay because, you know, if we don't use it all, it's not going to kill anything. So you can kind of take a look, if I can like aim this right, just to kind of how quickly the salt is dissolving in there. It's almost already gone. And hello over there, Facebook. I'm sorry I can't show you that, but it dissolves really, really quickly. So when you're doing it at home, expect like no more than about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay, and that'll do it. So turn off the heat and let it cool just for a moment. And I'm going to put you guys back down. So you've got your jar stuffed with pickles. You've got whatever spices you are using, whether it's just fresh dill, dry dill, whether you have like a pickling spice blend. That's all already in there. And then all you're going to do is take your jar. Actually, I'm just going to bring the boiling water over here and put it on a trivet so you guys can see. And what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is place all of the garlic into the jar because I love pickled garlic. So why let it go to waste? It kind of flavors your vinegar water mixture, but you should also just like keep it. Like why wouldn't you? So I'm going to take these tongs. Okay. I'm going to take these tongs really quickly and just gently place each garlic into my mason jar. And if you packed it really tightly, this might be kind of hard to do, but usually you can kind of make it fit. These are kind of going to stay on the top, but I'm going to have enough water that it's going to go all the way to the top, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so here's kind of what you're going to end up with. And then all you're going to do is very, very carefully pour the boiling water, vinegar, salt mixture into this, and it's just going to fill up the nooks and crannies where you were not able to completely pack the vegetables in. And so I'm going to show you kind of what that looks like. Very, very carefully because the odds of me pouring this boiling water on myself right now are extremely high. All right, we're going to see how it goes. I normally would do this over the sink, but I want you guys to be able to watch it. So if we all die, well, you won't die. I might die. If I die, call 911 for me, please. All right, so you just pour that in. You can see it kind of filling up. Well, actually, Facebook can't see it, so I'm going to just move you guys over a little bit. Okay, here we go. That's pretty good. Okay, just fill this up completely to the top, all the way to completely to the top. And what is going to happen is your vegetables are going to shrink a little bit during this process as they sort of get pickled. And so even if you don't have quite enough liquid to cover all the vegetables, they're going to shrink down and there will be enough liquid in the end. Okay, so that's it. That's the process. So what we're going to do right now is let this sit so that the boiling vinegar water cools down completely. And once that's done, I'm going to put the lid on it and I'm going to put it in the fridge. And after 12 hours, you can start to eat them. They're going to be pretty pickled at that point and really, really good. But I would usually recommend, you can eat them after 12 hours, but they're going to be best after about 3 days. And at about 3 days, you're good to go. They should be completely pickled, or at least as pickled as they're going to get. And because we're not doing the traditional like vacuum sealing, sanitizing process, these are not going to last forever. I would not keep them in your fridge longer than about 3 months. However, I can't imagine these still being in my fridge 3 months from now. I will have eaten them long before then. So I'm not going to keep you on while it cools because that's going to be an hour or two. And so if anybody has any questions, put them in the chat now, or otherwise, please do join us for our upcoming digital programs. We have, let me see, tomorrow is What You're Reading and Watching Wednesday at 5:30 on Zoom. Friday, we're doing Game Night Fridays, also on Zoom. And Monday, by conference phone, call in on your phone, we're going to be doing meditation and stretching. All of the information for how to access those can be found on our Facebook. On the individual event page, you'll find the Zoom meeting information and the conference call access information, or you can email me directly at bowdenl@northriversidelibrary.org, and I will give you that information. And thanks for bearing with us as we move all of our programming online. So thanks very much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to go ahead and end these live videos now. If you have further questions, go ahead on Facebook or on Instagram, because we're going to save these videos, and you can just ask us a question there. I'll be monitoring and I can answer. So thanks. Bye. All right. So Facebook.